Speaking of these two things, the life of the student, the experience in the classroom, and the excellence of education, Mike Garvey and I were just talking outside about the courses he teaches now in forensic science. And Mike is another graduate who was here as a student, had the experience of a student, and now he's back as a faculty member. You said, I'm going to quote you back now from a press release, Michael. Quote, "In the field of forensics, the key component of it all is the science. It's being a trained scientist first that will allow you to apply that knowledge to solving the crimes. And it's that education you get here." And so, Mike, I'd like to know for you, what did you most value about your education, your time as a student here, and how does that translate to your teaching today?
Sure. So you quote me, and now I have to talk about a quote that I said 2 years ago here, I believe.
Would you like me to repeat it?
No.
Is it like being on the stand?
Nothing like being on the stand. Well, but even prior to talking, about that, since we were talking about this earlier, one of the interesting things when I was up here and we're talking about what the importance of the college is, I actually went back a little bit further than when I was here in college. I actually went back to when I was in high school for a moment, when I was actually going out and looking at colleges. And it's an interesting experience for us all if we remember that. And going on college tours and getting the big letters in the mail, and one letter in particular that made my parents extremely happy that said I had an offer to go to a college, which I won't name, which was going to give me 4 years paid, which they were excited about. And I said, but that Philadelphia College of Pharmacy and Science that we went to, the one that I'm not being offered the 4-year ride to, there was really something about that I just liked. I really want to go there. So they broke down, figured it out, and I came here for 4 years. And arguably, these were 4 incredible years because of the people that teach here, because of the courses I was able to take here. So I'm going to answer this question and sort of, it is the courses. It is that, it's absolutely true in that to be a good forensic scientist, any of you who have ever heard me talk about this, it's not the lifestyle of the TV show, even though I brought the sunglasses in case you wanted to see them on. But it is actually knowing the science and how to apply it. It's being a true expert in the science and figuring out what the question is and how you can utilize your tools to get to that answer. But, like we talked about earlier, it isn't just that you learn the scientific techniques here. You don't just sit and memorize the periodic table or know how to build your organic chemical models that drop on the floor right in the middle of answering that big question for the test. It isn't, memorizing how the immune system works, or as some people may have asked us questions, no names, Dr. Zink, final exams that is, explain immunology. Here's your blue books. Have fun. It's a great example, though, because it's a great question. It isn't regurgitate information to me that I made you memorize. It's apply the information that you learned, and what is the question set, what is the problem, and how are you going to answer it? So it's the courses, but it's the interaction with the teachers here. So for any of you that are here taking your classes right now, this is not a large campus. You're not sitting in rooms often with 200 people. That's great. Some of the classes that I teach right now, there are 6 people in them. One of them has 2 people in it. That's incredible. That's an incredible opportunity as a teacher, but it's also a great opportunity for you, even if you don't realize it sometimes. It gives you the opportunity to sit and talk with your professors about not only the science, but again, how you apply it, how you interact with them, how you interact with each other. Because at the end of the day, when we all graduate here and go off to do other things, it's easy. When I went to grad school and everyone's going, oh, papers, presentations. I have to critically think, what are they expecting of me? And I went, well, isn't that what you did in college? Because that's what we really emphasized here. It isn't just what you learn in the classroom. It's I don't really know where it happens now, but in the old building, in the biology department, we had the lounge. I don't know any of you that remember the lounge, but the lounge was the room. Basically, when we weren't in class, we were. And when I say we, it was the students and the faculty. We took our breaks together, we ate our lunch together, we talked about science, we talked about politics, we talked about life. And that's the part that makes this school, teaches you the science, but it also teaches you how to think. Look at the problems, come up with the right answers, and the rest is easy. So that's how I sort of go at it for now. Teaching is looking at it, not coming into a classroom to say, I'm going to teach you all of the reagents in a PCR amplification and then do the capillary electrophoresis and do the population, calculations. We do all that, but it's why are you doing it? Why are you applying it? Why is it important? And what if something changes in those parameters are you going to do? Because it's not just running a kit. We don't train technicians here. We train people that are going to solve the problems at hand. So that's how I approach it.
So how did you, when you were a student, strike a balance between, you talked about the lounge a little bit, how else did you strike a balance between your studies and having a life? And I think that's something that our current students want to do as well.
Well, I never said I had a life, but no. Sorry.
That's not fair. That's not the answer.
I know, that wasn't the answer you were looking for, which is why I gave it. But no, it's important to, One of the other things, and I'm a little biased because this isn't only where I went to college, this is home to me. This is where I am from. It's a great place. So what I was always amazed at in the first year of college when people come from other places and they said, Philadelphia, there's nothing to do here. Wow, really? Philadelphia is one of the most amazing places you may ever want to go. I've been to a lot of places throughout the world. Some places people may have been trying to maybe blow me up. They weren't so nice. But we have arts, we have the humanities, we have culture, we have sports. Game 1 last night, very good. Let's go Flyers. So, but that's where the balance comes in. And some of the courses that we took here, and I'm hopefully, from what I've heard, have even grown more, arts and humanities weren't just the extras, but when even back then, when you took a course and said, as part of your project, why don't you go down and see a play? Well, I'm a scientist. Well, okay, but that's great, but get the other part of your brain working, and you'll be a little bit more creative. And at the end of the day, it goes back to what I said earlier, we're not technicians, we're hopefully creative people. Creative people are going to look at processes, problems in different ways, and sometimes you need to get out of the lab, and that just doesn't mean a party at, a Pie Lam or one of those. It's maybe a little bit of a cultural thing, but you have to have that even mix, and by having that even mix, I think you, at the end of the day, are going to approach problems a lot easier too, because like we were talking about earlier, even a technical problem at your job when you're out there isn't just a technical problem. It's a technical problem that probably has a lot of people involved too, from non-scientist policymakers maybe, congressmen and the people that work for them perhaps that don't have a clue what they're talking about, but you have to try to get them to understand what you're saying. So not only do you have to be that technical expert, but you might have to be able to talk to them as a person. And these are the things that I think you can pick up here, is learning how to interact with people, have a life, so you do have a life, but also bring that technical expertise into it.